You think being open about your ambitions makes you respected, but the truth is, it quietly destroys your leverage before you even get the chance to use it. You've done this before. You find an opportunity, a better role, a better team, something that actually aligns with where you want your life to go. For the first time in a while, things feel clear, controlled, like you're finally moving forward instead of standing still. And then you tell someone, not a big announcement, just a casual mention, a coworker, someone you sit near, someone you trust without really thinking about it. I'm thinking of applying for that role. They nod, they smile, maybe even encourage you. And in that moment, nothing feels wrong. But something already changed. You just don't see it yet. Because most people misunderstand how workplaces actually work. You think your job is about doing good work, building relationships, being collaborative. And yes, that matters. But underneath all of that, there's a system running. A system that reacts to signals. And one of the most powerful signals you can send without realizing it is this: I might leave. The moment that signal enters the environment, everything begins to shift. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly, subtly, but permanently. Your manager doesn't call you in and confront you. There's no conflict, no drama. Instead, something far more dangerous happens. They adjust. They start thinking differently about you. Not emotionally, logically. If you're planning to leave, then investing in you becomes a risk. If you're a risk, then opportunities start moving elsewhere. Projects you were supposed to get go to someone else. Responsibilities that would have positioned you for growth disappear. You're still there, still working, but the system has already started moving around you, and you don't even know why. Because from your perspective, nothing changed. But from theirs, everything did. This is the part no one teaches you. There are two types of information in the workplace. The first is social information. What you did this weekend, your opinions, your personality, your general updates. Sharing this builds connection. It makes you human. It helps people like you. The second type is something entirely different. Ambition information. What you want, where you're going, what moves you're planning. This type of information doesn't build connection. It changes incentives. And once it's out, you can't take it back. You think, if I share my goals, people will support me. Reality, the moment you share your goals, people start adjusting their behavior around them. Not because they're bad people, but because the system forces them to. If this hits, comment 1 below, because what's happening here isn't personal. It's structural. Every organization runs on allocation. Time, opportunities, resources, visibility. And those things don't flow randomly. They flow towards stability. Managers are not rewarded for developing people who might leave. They're rewarded for maintaining performance, keeping things predictable, delivering results. So when you signal that you're not stable, you stop being a priority, not out of punishment, out of logic. You move from being an asset to being a variable, and variables don't get invested in. They get managed around. That's why everything starts to feel off. Your one-on-ones change tone. Your ideas get less traction. You're still competent, still capable, but somehow less included, less trusted with what matters. And the worst part, no one will ever tell you why, because technically, no one did anything wrong. This is where most people make a second mistake. They think they need to prove themselves again, work harder, show more commitment, be more visible, but they don't realize they're already reacting to a system that has reclassified them. And once that happens, effort alone doesn't fix it, because the issue was never your performance. It was your timing. Here's the deeper truth. Information has power, but only when it's controlled. There's a concept called information asymmetry. It means one side knows something the other side doesn't. And that imbalance creates advantage. The person who knows more, moves first, positions better, wins more often. In your career, this is everything. When you know your next move, but no one else does, you have flexibility. You can prepare, build skills, position yourself without interference, without resistance, without being anticipated. But the moment you reveal your plans too early, you destroy that advantage. You give the system a map of your future before you're ready to arrive there, and the system will react to that map, not in your favor, in its own. This is the shift most people never make. They think honesty is always the best strategy. But in reality, timing is, because the exact same truth, said at the wrong time, becomes a weakness. Said at the right time, becomes power. Let that sink in. It's not about lying. It's not about being fake. It's about understanding that not every truth needs to be shared immediately, especially when you don't yet have the leverage to support it. There's another layer most people don't notice. Once people know what you want, they start seeing everything you do through that lens. Your actions stop being neutral. They become interpreted. You ask a question. You're positioning. You contribute an idea. You're trying to stand out. You show enthusiasm. It looks strategic, even when it's genuine. You become predictable. And predictability kills advantage. Because now people don't just see what you do. They think they know why you're doing it. And that creates friction. Low level, constant, invisible friction. You feel it, but you can't explain it. You're still doing everything right, but something isn't clicking anymore. This is why some people seem to move effortlessly, while others equally capable feel stuck. It's not just skill. It's not just effort. It's control over perception. And more importantly, control over timing. The people who win don't announce their moves early. They prepare in silence. They build evidence. They become undeniable. So when the moment comes, they don't need to explain anything. The result speaks for them. And at that point, revealing their ambition doesn't create resistance. It confirms reality. That's the game. Not working harder, not being louder, not sharing more, but aligning your ambition with proof before you expose it to the system. Because once the system sees it, it will react. And if you're not ready, that reaction will cost you time, energy, opportunities, sometimes months, or even years, all because you spoke too soon. And here's the hardest truth. The workplace is not designed to maximize your growth. It's designed to maintain its own stability. That means your goals only matter when they align with the system's needs. Until then, they are risks, and risks get minimized. This is why being a good employee isn't enough, because the system doesn't reward goodness. It rewards usefulness at the right time. If you don't understand this, you'll keep making the same mistake. You'll keep thinking, I just need to be more open. I just need to communicate better. I just need to show initiative. But none of that matters if you've already given away your position too early. Because once you do, you're no longer in control of the narrative. The system is, and the system always protects itself first. So what should you do instead? You move differently. You stop announcing. You start building. You identify what the next level requires. Then you quietly become it. You close the gap between who you are and what you want without needing validation along the way. You let your work evolve before your words do. And when the time comes, you don't say, I want this role. You say nothing, because by then, it's obvious. There's no debate, no interpretation, no hesitation, just alignment. That's power. That's leverage. That's timing. And once you understand this, you start seeing everything differently. You realize that most career struggles aren't about lack of ability. They're about premature exposure. People reveal their ambitions before they're ready to defend them. And then they wonder why things get harder, why progress slows down, why opportunities disappear. But now you know, it wasn't bad luck. It wasn't office politics. It was timing. You spoke before the system had no choice but to agree with you. And in doing that, you gave away your advantage. So next time, move in silence. Not because you're afraid, but because you understand the goal is not to hide forever. The goal is to become undeniable before anyone knows you're trying. Because once you reach that point, the same words that once weakened you will now elevate you, and everything will move faster. If this changed how you think, consider subscribing.